Yeah. La Tech is back in the house, man, for another year. Good. Uh, yeah, Tyler, of course, came on the second half of the season and really provided a spark for us. I think the two things that I was most impressed with him is he gets thrown into the fire as a true freshman, and he really never got rattled or affected. I mean, it says a lot about his confidence and his abilities, and he got hit a lot, and he made some mistakes, but he kept going, and that's a great quality. And then secondly, he did a phenomenal job of pushing that ball down the field and creating some explosive plays. Now, so it's a good starting point. Now, he's still in his infant stages in quarterback play. He's got a long way to go to turn into an every down dependable player in the SEC, but I've been real impressed with his investment in getting better, and it's only going to come in time. Yeah. Well, in Knoxville, we call this year one. It was year zero last year, given the amount of change that we had. But we are light years away. And, you know, I made the statement that we inherited a big senior class last year who had a lot of influence on the team. And, of course, that makes it more challenging to really put in your way of doing things. But they did a great job, and our coaches did a good job of managing that. But it allowed us to really flip the page this year and kind of redefine what it means to play for Tennessee. I think it's something that we lost in our program, understanding what the expectation is in everything that we do. And so it's been a real healthy thing in our program, and it's helped that most of our team are freshmen and sophomores. I think the number's 70%. Yeah, well, we got our kickers returning, Mike Pilardi, you know, who I think he got a little action last year on kickoffs. I think he's going to be a really good field goal kicker for us. He's working very hard on improving his kickoffs. It wasn't the distance and placement that we certainly expect, but he'll be better in time. And then we're going to have a new punter who's a freshman, redshirted last year, a very talented leg. So I think with both of them, because of their youth, there's going to be growing pains, but they're the right kind of guys to coach. Yeah, well, it's not going to be easy. I've played, you know, when we were at LSU, I know what kind of environment it is to go on the road at Arkansas. It's always tough, but it's especially tough given the state of their program right now. Bobby's done a great job. They're extremely talented, and they're going to be one of the teams that's going to be contending for a conference championship. Well, I feel pretty good that we've made a ton of progress. I think our players have been, for the most part, representing the way we want them to represent. I think that how we compete on the field is a component of that, and we're going to continue to grow that. So we're never going to be perfect. We're always going to make mistakes. But I do think there's a sense of feel good about the state of our program and the direction we're headed. Bringing Jansen back. Well, he withdrew. We all know that Jansen is going through a lot. And even though he's back, he's not necessarily back. He's got a lot to do. He's on the team. He's got a lot to do for himself and a lot to do for the program. And so really the jury's still out. My thought process on most players is if they show a true, genuine willingness to work through their problems, acknowledge their problems, and have a genuine interest in solving their problems, then I just believe it's our responsibility to help support them, and that's been the case with Jansen. We were 8-7 in post-game handshakes. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope, that's certainly not going to be our standard, never quit. We want to win the games. But, I was proud of sort of the resiliency of the team last year. You know, we were in a tough spot, sitting there at 2-6, and got beat pretty handily by a couple of good football teams. And we had every reason in the world to doubt, to cash it in, but those guys didn't flinch, and it's a real tribute to them. There's no question on defense, we got some uncertainty. We only have one returning starter back in the front seven in a league where if you don't have a dominant front seven, you're going to have a tough time competing. So that doesn't mean we're not going to be any good. It just means that we have zero experience. I think it's very similar to how we entered the season on offense last year. We came in with no experience on the offensive line, a new quarterback and a new runner. But during the course of the year, we turned in to be a pretty decent offensive football team once we got our personnel intact and some young guys really stepped up and performed. And we're hoping we'll get the same kind of production on defense this year.